teachers to the July Monterey Bay Teacher Association meeting. I hope you enjoyed your meal, but this portion of the meeting we are here to honor the recipient of the 2011 Monterey Bay Teacher Association Friends of Education Award. This award is to recognize individuals who give freely of their time to assist teachers and schools in the Monterey Peninsula School District. This award has been given every year since 1975, when the Monterey Teachers Association was established. These people are nominated by the individual schools to acknowledge outstanding volunteers. Throughout MPUSD, volunteers selfishly donate hours of their time to help out local schools. Some of these volunteers go over and beyond the average volunteer efforts. We had several contenders for this year's award, but one nominee stood out over and beyond the rest. He is a prime example of the volunteer who gives his all. Our award winner volunteered over 100 hours this past year to help La Mesa Elementary School. The efforts he put forth range from recruiting volunteers to managing those volunteers during local events to improving school grounds. If it were not for the efforts of volunteers, schools like La Mesa Elementary School would be unable to offer enhanced learning opportunities such as art, music, physical education, and computer lab classes. These classes are partially funded by these outside organizations. These organizations opt to use schools for their workers instead of hiring someone on the outside. For one, they can save a little money, they don't have to pay minimum wage, but it also gives them reason to give back to the school system. This would be impossible without a director of operations. This is where our winner filled that most of his hours. He took on this task to ensure that shifts were adequately covered and kept volunteers happy by keeping them well fed and hydrated. He also gave them autonomy to be able to watch races at Laguna Seca or to stargaze at local golf events. He sometimes volunteered over 12 hours a day to make sure things ran smoothly. He often gave up vacation time in his efforts to make sure these things happened. In addition to being director of operations, he also helped in the beautification efforts at La Mesa Elementary School. He helped repair the sprinkler system, planted small trees and bushes, assembled park benches, and constructed a beautiful sign to go over the entrance of their friendship garden. Even though he no longer has children attending the school, he continues to help La Mesa Elementary School as he has for the past 5 years. Please join me in a round of applause for the 2011 Monterey Bay Teacher Association's Friend of Education, Mr. Glenn Woodson.
Thank you very much. You know it's getting to be the end of the evening, so I thought I'd just go through my list of all the people I wanted to thank. Just kidding. Instead, what I really want to thank is Karen, number one, for presenting me this award. Jill Lowe, as the head of MBTA, for actually running through the nomination process. And actually, ultimately, I want to thank the teachers at La Mesa Elementary School, specifically Lucy Zeal and Joy Branson. When I first moved here with my family in January of 2006, I was newly married with 3 new stepchildren, one at La Mesa Elementary School in 2nd grade with Lucy, one at Colton Middle School, and then one at Monterey High School. So I got to see the trifecta of the entire system. What I really saw, though, was how Lucy brought me into the system. Some people would say that I was kind of suckered in as a parent. The reality is that I willingly went along. Lucy, just like many of the teachers here today, not just at La Mesa, but at many of the schools that I've come across with in the last 3 years, you are the ones who actually make the school system. It's not about the autonomy of the teachers, but how you mutually bring them together to make a team. What I want to talk about are 3 little anecdotes that talk about how I summarize my experiences and why I think that what you do here for the teachers and for the community is so important. The first one, like I've already mentioned, is teamwork. Ultimately, we can't operate as parents or volunteers or as community members without a school system. You are the ones here who educate our children. You're the ones who spend 6 hours a day for 180 days a year working with our children and helping raise them. With that in mind, at the same time, given what I've learned here about California's school system, there isn't enough time in the day, and you don't have the staffing to keep up with all the myriad of requirements. Bob Miller one time brought up a list of all the external requirements that each of you are required to do at each school site. I was absolutely floored. There were over 40 different programs, from public safety to awareness levels, nutrition, to dealing with ADHD. These are all additional programs that you as teachers have to deal with in the classroom and at school sites. That is above and beyond your basic requirement, which is just to educate. So it's about teamwork, and you can't do it alone. So that's where you find parents. Some willing, like me, some not. And I think when it comes to teamwork, that leads kind of to my next point, which is that it's never about stopping the learning process. Usually we think about, as a parent, okay, we raise our children, they become 18, and they graduate. They leave the school system. Well, what really happens is we eventually go off, we get married, and we have children. And our children end up back in the school system again. As parents, we can't stop the learning process. You as teachers, I think, bring back to that process the idea that you have to stay involved. It's easy to drop my child off at school each day and then come home, pick them up, and say, how was your day, or help them with the homework. But ultimately, what you need to do, especially in this environment, and what you do very well within Monterey Bay Teachers Association, is you bring the parents into the process. You make them realize that they can't do this alone, and you can't do this alone as teachers. You have to work together and develop that process. That's where I think learning as an adult is a process, because I don't see a lot of parents right now understanding that. And I think that a goal of a lot of the teachers that I have run with, the Lucy Zeals, the Joy Bransons of the world, what you bring to the process is an understanding that the parents need to learn how to become back involved, and that they can't walk away from it. The third lesson I really want to talk about, and this is how I got involved and spent, for some reason, over 1,500 hours last year supporting the school district. La Mesa is not about golf. For those of you who don't know, and I think most of you do at this point, the primary role that I have had as a Ways and Means Director on the PTA, we modified it compared to most PTAs. What we've done is turn that into a fundraising arm. Now, California PTA will turn around and argue with me on this and say that the role of PTA is never about fundraising. And generally that's true. It's about providing programs that augment what you are doing in the school system. It's providing additional external programs, a dance or a book fair, or things that help increase the value of the education for our children. What ends up happening, though, is to be able to subsist and supply those programs. Historically, we've had programs called cookie dough raising, wrapper sales, all those different things that end up invading your classrooms over time because you get tasked with that. What we at La Mesa decided to do is go out and expand that. We went into the community and found some local sponsors who said, well, if your parents want to come in and your teachers want to be involved, then we'll provide you an in-service donation. What the benefit is that our parents get to do some of these expensive events on the peninsula that we all can't really afford to attend, like Concours d'Elegance, or all the races at Laguna Seca, or the professional PGA Tour events here. So it provides that capability, but more importantly, it provides another link back between what you do as teachers and what we believe as parents we need to provide to our students, and that is an understanding of civic responsibility. So yes, we do golf. I think we've been doing it now for 7 years now. But what we provide is really more than just the pure fundraising. And that, at the end of the day, even though I can't give you a teacher, I can't give the district the capability to bring another PE teacher or music teacher or librarian back into our district full-time across all the school sites. What we do and what we as parents at La Mesa have tried to do through the enthusiasm of the teachers is link that back and provide that to one school site. And if I walked away from this and I thought in the future what I would recommend and what I would love to see as development within the district is to see further development of MBTA and creating and fostering that linkage with some of the other school sites so that in the future we can, as parents and as the teachers, we can work more closely together to bring the PE, the music, the computer lab, and the librarians back full-time to our district. Not necessarily through fundraising or PTA, but ultimately through marshaling the resources to get MVUSD to do what they need to do. Again, thank you very much for this award. I'll cherish it very much. And I guess I will see you all at the golf tournaments helping volunteer in the future. If anybody wants help with helping your organizations, please let me know. And I will be glad to help you stand up and help your schools.